And welcome to We Live for Saturday, your favorite college football podcast. I'm your co-host, Mike, and with me, as always, is your other co-host, John. John, how are you doing this fine day?
I'm doing fantastic. It has been fall weather here all week. I have been loving it. Windows have been open. Been getting things done outside, just feeling energized. I know a lot of people start to get all, I guess less active. I guess this time of year, people love to kind of go inside and do their thing. Not me, man. I'm
I
like,
don't
this
really
is where I'm.
understand that.
I'm out ready to do and accomplish things, whatever I can outside. I love it.
Yeah, no, dude, this having fall actually arrive in time for fall has been really nice.
Yep.
I think it's been several years before this of like it just being unbearably hot in the beginning of September.
Yeah.
And we got a 70. I think the opener was 72 degrees at kick. And tomorrow for the Gopher game, the high is 61.
Amazing. That's beautiful.
It's perfect. That is football weather.
Yep.
There's nothing like being able to go to a football game and get excited and not really sweat.
Yeah.
Because like it's just a little less comfortable when you're sitting in like a pool of your own sweat you've been bathing in all game because you're surrounded by 50,000 other people and it's warm.
Yep.
And the sun's beating down and all that kind of stuff. Like, I am glad that we are not having that. Because last year it was weird. We had a bunch of hot weather games in September, and then it went right to cold.
Yeah.
And and when I say cold, I mean it went right to like winter cold.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we had a single game that was like a light hoodie game last year.
I think there was maybe one, but it was not.
I don't
but
think
most
there
of
was.
it, I mean, I feel like last year I went to the Rhode Island game with you. It started out that way, and then it quickly warmed up. So yeah. I think it started out like hoodie weather, but the temperature rose pretty drastically by the second half. So yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, but yeah, man, it's great. I love it. I love football weather. I love not sweating. And speaking of not sweating, I think a lot of teams will not be sweating it out this week, which is great for a lot of us. So yeah.
No, this is just so everyone knows, this will probably be a shorter than usual pod. We apologize for not getting this one out till Friday. We're sorry. We realize that's not a lot of time for a preview pod. In future weeks, we will do better. But I'll be honest, man, life kicked me in the rear this week, man. It's been about a week of, we're just so busy and get a little, you get a little behind on something and it just kind of snowballs. So I am trying to dig my way out of it. I think I'll get there by the end of the weekend.
It happens, man. It's part of the deal with doing this podcast. Sometimes, we can show up, we can't. Sometimes things show up a little late, but hopefully our listeners understand that. But yeah, we'll continue to do what we can.
And next week, the preview will come out earlier.
Yeah.
And in future weeks, the preview will come out earlier than Friday. So, so we apologize for that, but it should be a one-time thing. We'll make sure to get it out earlier so you have more time to digest it before football starts.
Yep. Sounds good.
Cool, John. Any other non-weather related thoughts you have before we get into talking and previewing these week 2 Big Ten football games?
No, I mean, we talked a little bit before the pod. I think it's just, trying to keep up with like injuries and things like that. I know that we're both relieved to see that Billy Edwards Jr., it's not going to be a season-ending injury. He should be back.
Thank God.
Weeks. Yeah, it's just terrible to see that no matter who you are. Yes, Wisconsin's our rival, but like I don't want to see that no matter who it is. It's just you feel bad for these guys. They only get.
We don't want to beat Wisconsin because they're banged up. We want to beat Wisconsin because we're better than them.
Exactly. Yeah.
I want to see all teams full strength every week. You can't have that, but that's what I would like to see.
Yeah.
In a perfect world.
Exactly.
Because then you really know who's better.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But and plus, it's just for these guys, they
work so hard.
They work so hard, and they only get so many years, and so you want them to be able to get that. And most of them will not be going to the NFL, and
the ones that aren't have 4 to 5 years. That's it.
Yeah. So wish them the best of luck. Hopefully it's a good solid return. Not just like he's playing dinged up for the rest of the season, but we'll see. So. Yeah, man. Other than that, it's been great watching the SEC meltdown continue this last week.
Oh man, they're coping hard.
Yeah, they are.
They're coping hard. They're like, LSU's the team. All the pundits now, all the ESPN pundits are like, LSU. They've got to be the best team in the country, right? Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, weren't you just writing LSU off before they beat Clemson? Because you were all in on Texas and Bama. But now Texas might still be really good. Alabama, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not saying they're bad.
Yeah.
But like they might be like an 8-4 team.
I could see
they
that.
Might be.
Yeah, honestly, I can see that. I think that we'll talk about it more with Wisconsin, and we already mentioned it. I think that Wisconsin, there's more of a shot now.
Wisconsin has a real shot in that game.
I think they might.
Yeah.
I think without Billy Edwards Jr., if he's not playing, I think that it might make it a lot more.
He should be back by then, though.
We'll see.
That's the last week of September, isn't it?
I think so.
No, it's week 3. It's next week. Never mind,
it's next week.
Right.
So
it's
I'm not.
Oh, so we don't know if he'll be back.
Which will really, really stink, because again,
hopefully he's back.
Hopefully he is, and it would be nice to see Wisconsin at full strength playing against this Alabama team. And and the thing is even if Wisconsin loses, but they make it a game, that's going to say so much. It's going to say so for both squads, really.
Luke Fickell is still rebuilding. When you're rebuilding, there are moral victories.
Yep.
Once you've rebuilt, there are no more moral victories.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're rebuilding, and year 3, I think because he fired his offensive coordinator and the offensive staff, I think you could say this is a hard restart. So it's year 3, but it's still an early rebuilding type of year.
Mm-hmm.
So man, that's going to be really interesting. But we will get to that one. We'll tease that this week a little, but we'll get to that more obviously in next week's preview.
Yeah. It's just it'll be, if they make it a game, Kalen DeBoer, I mean, you got to think he's going to be on the hot seat, man. I mean, Alabama does not
tolerate buyout is huge.
I don't, but like, does Alabama
No, you're right.
tolerate that? Like, I don't know. I mean, does ESPN tolerate? Do you think Paul Feinbaum will like help foot the bill to like buy him out? I mean, it makes you wonder.
Isn't Feinbaum technically a Tennessee guy?
I thought he was, but
he acts like a Bama fan. He has since Nick Saban got there, he for sure acts like he's an Alabama fan. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, but anyway, just enjoying the SEC tiers as always. It's fantastic.
It's always funny when a pundit, even when we identifies strongly with a team that's not his own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But dude.
All right.
For sure.
Cool.
And we don't like Feinbaum. I'm saying in a hypothetical pundit that we did like, it would still be weird.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. Feinbaum sucks. Not a fan.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. All right. So other than dancing on the SEC's proverbial grave, anything else you want to talk about, John, before we start previewing these games?
Yes, if you want to find We Live for Saturday, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Podcast Addict. You can find us on Twitter at We Live for B1GSat. You can find Mike here at Alibaba26 and me, John, at Norwegian Gopher. You can email us, We Live for Saturday, B1G@gmail.com. Please, as always, follow, like, subscribe, retweet, tweet, all that good stuff. We really appreciate it, especially here on YouTube. Please subscribe. That'd be great.
Yes, please subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate that for sure. Everyone's putting out a lot of content right now, so it's really competitive. The more, views and subscriptions you can get for us, it's the best. And if you're out there and your boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't care about football, but you love our podcast, you can just have them go under their email and subscribe too.
Yep.
And they don't ever have to watch. They can just subscribe and boost us, because we're getting lots of views, which is great. And lots of good watch. And the people who are viewing for a long time, which I am proud of, that people who actually listen to it tend to stay around.
Mm-hmm.
But we can always use more help. So anything you can do for us, we will owe you a solid. As always, write in the comments or email us. Tell us you did us a favor, and we will owe you one and shout you out on the air.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right.
Should we get into these games?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, the first couple games are tonight, John, Friday, September 5th. And we have the 0-1 Western Illinois Leathernex at the also 0-1 Northwestern Wildcats. This is a 6:30 p.m. game on the Big Ten Network. The line is the Cats by 28.5.
Yeah, well, with this game, like this is going to have to be some kind of get right game for Northwestern, getting things back on track. What I need to see is, and for them to establish an identity. Who are they?
Yes.
Are they going to be running? Well, their offense, their defense, I'm not really that worried about. I think they're going to get going, continue to get better throughout the season. But their offense, are they going to continue to try to throw the ball? Are they going to try to be more balanced? Are they going to make the run game their identity? What is it? Because right now we don't have any clue. And last week was a disaster on every level.
I mean, it was an embarrassing loss to Tulane.
Oh, it was so bad. So,
to go on the road and get crushed by a group of 5 team, score 3 points. Brutal.
I mean, I thought the defense was going to look better than they did, but they sure
I know, and I did too.
Mm-hmm.
But those much ballyhooed corners were not great.
No, and I watched some film here on Western Illinois, and obviously we watched the game last week and where they played the Illini. So, and it does not look good. I think Northwestern should be able to win this game, but it's going to be style points here. And how good do you look winning this game? Does it still look like you're a mess? Does it still look like you're kind of lost out there? Are you going to blow them out? And by how much? If this is only, a 28, to 3 or 10 victory, then I'm still going to be nervous about the Wildcats. I mean, I still might be anyways, but this needs to be an absolute slaughter on the field.
Illinois dropped a 50 burger on them.
Yeah. So this needs to be, I got to see at least in the 40s for this, for this.
I'd be, if I saw 35 points, I think I'd be like, good job, Northwestern.
Good job, but I just need to see more, and I think they have to prove that to the fan base and for me, I think right now. And because they should be able to, just by the talent disparity alone. They do have the talent. They have the ability to run the ball on this team. This is not a good FCS program.
No, they're bad.
I mean, they only put up 29 yards rushing last week, and their quarterback, Chris Irvin, only had 134 yards through the air. So it wasn't great. And obviously you're facing against Illinois, which is a very, very good team. So
really good team. Yeah.
But that's what I want to see here, man. This week, it's going to be, I want to see this D-line get to the quarterback multiple times, putting a lot of pressure on him, stopping, a bunch of tackles for loss. And I want to see this offense create an identity for themselves. That's what we need to see from Northwestern this week, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And it's also an interesting place to be because Northwestern and Illinois are rivals.
Yeah.
That Illinois just crushed Western Illinois. So if Northwestern does not crush them in a similar fashion, then it makes you question what's going to happen when they play for the Land of Lincoln Trophy.
Yep.
All right. Moving on. Next up, we have also a 6:30 p.m. game, also on the Big Ten Network. We have the 1-0 Northern Illinois Huskies going to College Park to take on the also 1-0 Maryland Terrapins. The line is Maryland by 17.5.
Well, I wanted to think that this might be a closer game, which it could be, maybe. I mean, it is a Mike Locksley team, so we could see.
But it's September.
It's September, so I expect, you would think Mike Locksley is going to absolutely annihilate Northern Illinois and hang a 50 burger on them. But which I think is very possible. I watched some film on the game again with Northern Illinois against the Holy Cross Crusaders, and dude, Northern Illinois won 19-17. It was ugly
against Holy Cross, huh?
Yes.
That's rough. Holy Cross is not known for their athletic prowess.
No.
In fact, alum of Holy Cross and kind of annoying podcaster Bill Simmons, aka the sports guy, as he calls himself, he basically said that the only reason he hates college sports is because he went to Holy Cross. And that if he had gone he says it. And then if he had gone somewhere that cares about sports, he would care about college sports.
Yeah.
Which I think is such a lazy, but whatever.
Yeah. That's a whole nother podcast.
It's a whole different, dude, a Bill Simmons podcast. We could do a deep Bill Simmons dive. I don't know if anyone would want to listen to it, but like I could go on and on about that guy for various reasons, mostly negative, but some positive.
Sure.
He has been a little bit of a visionary. Anyway, we're getting off track. Yeah, dude. Northern Illinois showed last year they could be under Thomas Hammock. They could be giant killers when they beat Notre Dame, who obviously went on to have a fantastic season. I don't know, man. Maryland looked hot last week.
They
Malik
did.
Washington looked good.
And I think it's going to continue because, look, this not only did they just play Holy Cross, but they didn't score a touchdown until the fourth quarter. That's when they finally pulled away.
Brutal.
Like, it was bad, man. And it was funny. Towards the beginning of the game, they were talking about Northern Illinois' quarterback as being a quote unquote dual threat quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his name is Josh Holst. He had 12 completions out of 18 attempts for 101 yards, 5.6 yard average, 1 interception with a QBR of 11.8.
Yeah.
I mean, they ran the ball pretty well, I guess. More or less a running back by committee with Siobhan Wright for 77 yards, Telly Johnson Jr. for 67, and Deary Rogers for 22. And they got about 178 total. It wasn't good, man. This is not a good Northern Illinois team. They're definitely going to be, I don't know if you want to call it, I guess, like rebuilding from whatever they had last year, which was a good team.
Real good team.
But their defense looks suspect. They have trouble stopping the run. The secondary looked okay, but not great at containing from the outside. So I think Malik Washington is going to be able to run. I think he's going to be able to pass. I think Maryland should be able to take care of this with no problem.
Yeah, I think so too. I want to see Maryland get a running game going, though.
Yes.
I think that's important that they show they can run the ball a little bit before we get to Big Ten play.
Yep.
So I'm going to be watching that closely and also continuing to watch Malik Washington, who is, after all, a true frosh starting at quarterback, which is always an exciting. Anytime you have any kind of freshman playing quarterback, it's exciting. But a true frosh in early September, anything could happen. That's the thing, man. Malik Washington could come out tomorrow. Come out tonight and throw for 400 yards, or he could come out tonight and throw 4 picks.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? He's a freshman. I don't know. So I'm ready to watch. I'm appointment viewing. I love that. I'm going to have my 2 TV set up for these games. And I think I'm going to have Northern Illinois, Maryland as my main game. I think so. Just because I think Western Illinois is so bad.
Yeah.
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 Right on. Should we move on to Saturday?
Let's do it.
All right. Saturday, September 6th, we have the 1-0 Florida International Panthers going to Happy Valley to take on the 1-0, number 2 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. This is an 11 a.m. game on the Big Ten Network. The line is Penn State by 42.5. So, yeah, big spread. FIU took it to Bethune-Cookman, winning by a huge margin of 42-9. Their QB played okay, completing 18 of 30 passes, but for just 187 yards on 6.2 yards per attempt. So that's not great. It's fine. It's not great. They used a running back by committee approach last week, but Keyshawn Owens was their leading rusher with 71 yards. The Panthers defense also had 2 sacks and 6 TFLs. That said, that was against Bethune-Cookman. For their part, Penn State took care of business against Nevada last week, winning 46-11. Drew Aller was sublime, going 22 for 26 for 217 yards and a TD. Really good start for him. Penn State didn't run the ball amazingly well last week, which is a little strange. But I also think they just wanted to limit touches for their top backs. I think, John, that Penn State is already load managing in anticipation of a playoff run.
Yep.
I think you're going to see in these out-of-conference games where they're not challenged, I think you're going to see Penn State really spread the carries around so that their top 2 backs and Singleton and Allen don't get a bunch of wear and tear on them when they know they're going to need those guys, not just in November, but possibly into January.
Yep. Yeah. I think that's a good assumption. I mean, that's what I would be doing, frankly.
Yeah. Kyron Hudson, Trevor Pena played pretty well last week. Penn State forced 3 turnovers, had 3 sacks, 9 TFLs. Look, this Penn State team is special. They showed it last week. They're going to show it again this week. It was good to see Drew Aller get off to such a strong start after such a disappointing finish to last year. Let's see, where was I? Yeah, Penn State, man. I think they're a great team. I'm excited to see them see them play Oregon later, because we're just not going to learn much from them playing FIU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, I will say, let's see Devontae Ross get going this week, huh?
Yeah, right.
You know, he was potentially your 1 or 2 wide receiver, and Trevor Pena and Kyron Hudson got all the. I think Devontae Ross has been a little banged up, so I'd like to see him healthy and back contributing.
No, I'm with you. I want to see that too. I want to see Penn State throw the ball. I want to continue to see that passing game improve and becoming what they're going to need to be if they're going to win a national title. So we know the running game is going to be good. I want to see them throw the ball.
Yes, me too.
Cool.
Next up, we have the 1-0, number 11 ranked Illinois Illini heading to North Carolina to take on the 1-0 Duke Blue Devils. This is an 11 a.m. game on ESPN. The line is Illinois by 2.5. So
good game.
Oh, it's a great game, man. It's a great game. Duke crushed Elon last week, while Illinois hammered Western Illinois. I would say we didn't learn much about either team.
Yeah.
I will say Duke QB Darian Mensah was incredible, finishing 27 for 34, nearly 400 yards passing, 11.4 yards per attempt, 3 TDs, no picks. QBR was just 68.7 though. So those misses must have been bad misses. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There must have been like a dropped interception or something, because it seems like for those stats, that seems like a really low QBR. Duke wasn't great running the ball. They ran it okay, but the passing game was the focus. It seems like to me, John, that Duke needs to prove they can run the ball against Illinois. Because if they can't, then that Illinois front is going to tee off on the pass rush. They're going to start blitzing. They're going to stop fitting their run gaps and just be like, we're getting to the quarterback.
Yep.
And Illinois will also need to slow down wide receivers Cooper Barkate and Keyshawn Brown. These guys made big plays last week. Altmaier for Illinois will have help as running backs Aiden Laffery and Caden Fagan both had nice days last week, and Khalil Valentine showed some good stuff too. Laffery is particularly impressive.
Yeah.
I think he's a really good back. I can see why Illinois is so high on him and why he's become kind of the focal point in a backfield that has, some talented guys in it. This is a Duke defense, though, led by head coach Manny Diaz. He's a former DC himself. He's really good. They will be dialing up stuff to try to confuse Luke Altmaier. So I think the 2 keys to this game are, 1, which team runs the ball better, as both can throw it really well. And 2, can Illinois generate explosive plays in a hostile road environment? I don't think you're going to win this game against Duke with a bunch of 12 play, 80-yard, 7-minute drives. I just don't. I think Manny Diaz is going to is not going to allow that. I think he's going to take that away. And I think you're going to have to hit some explosive plays over the top. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I think I've got John, what do you think about this one?
I mean, what I find interesting is seemingly, and maybe it's just me, but it seems to me that the national media is continuing to doubt to a point, not as much, but to a point, Brett Bielema's ability to coach at Illinois.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this is going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a very good game, a very tough game for both squads. But the fact that it really seems like a lot of people are kind of like, oh, this is an upset alert. And they're kind of wanting it to be rooting for it to be an upset is the way it kind of comes across. I just don't I just can't bet against Brett, man. I just can't. Not in situations like this. I understand that it's more or less of a coin flip. I get how it looks on paper, and I know that it's at Duke, but we've seen this and heard this before when it comes to Bielema in these exact type of situations, these exact type of games. We saw it in the bowl game against South Carolina.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Illinois is a for sure win here, but I do think that I would give Illinois the edge in this situation, especially because, like we said, if Duke cannot run the ball, then I think that's right there will be game over for Duke in the long run.
Yeah, I think it's borderline disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
I know Illinois is favored, but only by 2.5. Darian Mensah is very good.
Yeah.
Manny Diaz is a decent coach. Duke's still rebuilding.
Yeah.
This is year 2.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have that roster full up and down of like his guys. He hasn't had time to build like depth and culture and stuff to the extent that Bielema had. What's Bielema in, like year 5 or 6?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Champaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Duke has some players. I think they're good. I think they're well coached. Illinois is a more mature program.
Yep.
And they've got a senior quarterback who's been through it all a couple times in the Big Ten and the out of conference stuff. And I trust Luke Altmaier. I think it's going to come down to execution in the second half, especially the fourth quarter. And I just trust Luke Altmaier to make the right decisions, to make the right audibles, to run the ball when it's there, to throw the ball when it's there, and keep things on track. I trust him to do that.
Yep.
So because of that, I think this is close, but I've got Illinois 27, Duke 20.
Yeah, I have Illinois 30, Duke 17.
Interesting.
I think Altmaier goes off and shows you exactly who you are hoping he's going to be, and he wants to show that, like, hey man, I've been here a long time, I've put in the work. This is why I am who I am and what I can do for this team. You've seen it before, and you're kind of doubting me right now. So I want to prove it to everybody that this is a college football playoff team, and that I think this is a statement win that they're going to try to make to show people that.
Yeah, man. I mean, if that happens, if Illinois wins this game by 2 touchdowns, then they should be ranked in the top 10.
Yeah.
Like they're 11th right now, but if they come out against what we think is a pretty good Duke team and they hand it to them on the road, then I think they deserve top 10 status.
I agree.
I mean, we'll see what the other teams do, but it's early in the season. The top 10 ranked teams lose a lot.
True.
Because the rankings are meaningless until like a month into the year when and at that point they've already been tainted by the preseason rankings.
Yep.
And it's just, but this is not about rankings. This is a preview pod. I'm not going to get angry. We're not going to talk about in depth. Just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, Illinois, they're going to run the ball better than Duke can. Yep. I think that's that's the difference. And then Luke Altmaier being clutch when they need him to be. That's why I think Illinois wins this game.
Yep.
All right. Next up, we have the 1-0 Iowa Hawkeyes going to Ames to play against the 2-0, number 16 ranked Iowa State Cyclones. This is an 11 a.m. game on Fox, the big noon kickoff game. The line is Iowa plus 3.5. So Iowa is a dog in this game. Cyclones are favored by more than a field goal, which sort of surprises me, given I know that they won last year on a walk-off field goal. But, Ferentz has beaten Iowa State a lot more than he's lost to them, even under Matt Campbell.
I know that's the fact. Those are the facts.
Yeah.
But I just can't, man. I can't pick Iowa in this game. Look, Iowa had an amazing 310 yards rushing against Albany.
Yes. Albany, yeah.
Albany.
But still, lots of rushing yards. Great
lots
offensive
of rushing
line.
Yards. And I know Iowa fans are sick of hearing about this, but there was also a total of 48 yards through the air.
Yeah. 44, I think, wasn't it?
It was 44 for Mark Gronowski, and
okay.
our boy Hank Brown had 4 yards.
Okay. Sorry.
So, yeah.
Excuse me.
Don't forget about Hank, man. Come on.
Don't forget Hank.
Yeah.
My nephew's named Henry, and when my sister brought him home from the hospital, I said, it's Hammer and Hank Halverson, which is his last name. And Catherine goes, don't call him Hank. And I said, you named him Henry.
That's on you.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. So, look, Iowa's offensive line is, I think, you and I have discussed this. We think they're still going to be elite. We think they're going to be fantastic. They will eat on the ground. Like, these running backs will get what's theirs. This offensive line will have times where they will be pushing Iowa State around the field. But to me, man, it's just the lack of balance the utter lack of balance, unless Gronowski does show up this week. And last week was what I guess he's trying to tell everybody is that it was just first game jitters against Albany.
As a fifth-year senior starter?
Yeah, first game jitters. Okay, all right.
All right, dude.
You better pray that's the case, because Iowa fans will eat you alive if that isn't. So we'll see if he can throw the ball better this week, and they can continue to run the ball that they run the way that they have. Sure, I think Iowa has a real shot here. But to me, Iowa State is the team that's more balanced. I'm not saying Iowa State is this elite top level performance team. I think they're good, but I trust Rocco Becht. He's proven it on the field many times. Last week, obviously against South Dakota, you can't really tell much from that. They absolutely destroyed them, which is to be expected. But Rocco Becht played well.
Rocco Becht played really well
against K-State as well. And that's those are the numbers that I'm looking at. He had a 71.9 QBR. And yeah, it was 14 out of 28 with 183 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that was solid against a K-State, which is a legitimate power team. So I think that the fact that
he's completing nearly 70% of his passes. He's at 69%, 9.6 yards per attempt, which is pretty good. 5 TDs, 0 picks. Has taken 4 sacks, but which is something to watch with. Here's my thing, John. I want to pick Iowa State in this game. I will be cheering for Iowa State in this game because I can't sorry, I love the Big Ten, but even out of conference, I can't ever cheer for Iowa and Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Occasionally you can get me to cheer for Michigan. Occasionally. Like against Oklahoma this week. A big SEC Big Ten matchup. I will probably be pulling for the maize and blue. But Iowa and Wisconsin, I just can't get there.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, man. It took Iowa State running back Carson Hansen 25 carries to get to 90 yards so far. Or was that last week? Yeah. Sorry. Let me look. Yeah.
Against K-State, he had 71 yards.
Okay.
On 16 carries.
So Iowa State isn't that good at running the ball. So Rocco Becht is great, but they still don't have those NFL receivers they had last year. So I think it's going to be harder to take advantage of Iowa's DBs, unless, like you said, John, Iowa's corners are down. And I think we're going to find that out this week. I think we're going to find out how good Iowa's DBs are. Because here's the thing, and it's not sexy, but Iowa's going to be better on the offensive line and the defensive line. Full stop.
Sure.
Full stop. They are bigger. They are stronger. They are more athletic overall. Matt Campbell's done a great job, but he doesn't get first pick of Iowa kids. Kirk Ferentz does.
True.
Matt Campbell gets what's left over,
True.
And he's a great coach, and he does an unbelievable job outplaying his recruiting rankings. Amazing job. He does a great job developing all that kind of stuff. But Iowa, recruits a little better. They develop on the line of scrimmage so well. I think, and here's the thing, Iowa State needs to be able to run the ball. Because if Iowa can run the ball and stop the run, then Rocco Becht has to do it all himself. And then you start playing hero ball, and then you start throwing maybe a pick or two, unless you really so to me, the only way Iowa State wins this game is if Rocco Becht is just really good. Or Mark Gronowski is so bad that he cost them the game with turnovers and missing open receivers and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it's 16-13 Iowa.
Okay.
Ugly, low scoring, back and forth. I think Iowa forces a couple turnovers at some point because that's what they do. I think they make some weirdly long field goals at some point because that's what they do. And they win. But if Rocco Becht goes off, then it's time to talk about if the Iowa secondary is really up to the task this year.
Yeah. Look, I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I think it's going to be relatively close. I just right now I'm looking at who I trust, leading that offense down the field, and I trust Rocco Becht. I don't trust Gronowski. After what I saw against an absolutely horrendous FCS team, Albany, and I understand it was the first game of the season.
Yeah,
but that was bad, man. So I
bad.
can't excuse that. So for me, I'm seeing Iowa State winning this game 20-10.
20-10, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got the clones. 20-10.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Man, dude, if that's what happens, it's gonna get uncomfortable in Iowa City.
Very much so. Yeah.
Like, as much as I think Kirk has a longer leash than you think he does, if he loses to Iowa State 2 years in a row, they don't. Because Iowa fans, man, like, they hate us, they hate Wisconsin, but the way they hate Iowa State is different.
Yeah.
It's different. They hate Iowa State more. It's their biggest rival, and there's a reason they play every year, even though they're not in the same conference. And so yeah, man, it's going to be a great game. Honestly, the only thing I don't like about this game is I'm not going to be able to watch it.
That is unfortunate.
It's an 11 a.m. game,
Yeah.
and the Gopher game is also an 11 a.m. kick. So there we are.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Should we move along?
Yes.
All right. We have the 0-1 Kennesaw State Owls going to Bloomington to take on the 1-0 Indiana Hoosiers. This is an 11 p.m. game on FS1. The line is IU by 35.5. Owls quarterback Dexter Williams went just 12 for 33 last week for 149 yards. That's not good.
No.
That's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Their leading rusher had 66 yards on 17 carries. They had a receiver do pretty well, but yeah, dude, Kennesaw State's really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they are ungodly bad. And here's the thing. It was good to see Indiana get Roman Hemby going last week. He had over 100 yards rushing, and I think he's a good back and can be really useful for them both as a runner and as a receiver this year.
Mm-hmm.
Fernando Mendoza, man, 18 for 31, 193 yards. Remember all offseason people talking about him like he's going to be a day 2 draft pick in next year's NFL draft?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to see more. I got to see him play better than that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he played bad.
Yeah.
But I got to see him do more.
Yep.
If you're going to tell me that this guy is the next big time NFL draft pick and that NFL scouts are fawning all over him and all that kind of stuff, I just want to see it.
Yeah. I
want to see him show up and be lights out. And against Kennesaw State, he should be able to show up and be lights out.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm excited for. Otherwise, this game is not worth much to me, John.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, we got to see Mendoza show up the way that we've been told, and I think he can, I think
sure.
and I think he will in this game. But yeah, I don't want to see any kind of mental mistakes. I want to see complete control from start to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, moving right along. We have another 11 a.m. kick, also on the Big Ten Network. A lot of the Big Ten Overflow channels getting a workout this week. It's the 1-0 Northwestern State Demons going to Minnesota to take on the 1-0 Minnesota Golden Gophers. It's an 11 a.m. game on the Big Ten Network. There's no line because it's a bad FCS team against a good Big Ten team. In contrast to Northwestern, who was so bad last week that they have an actual line in their game against Western Illinois. Like, you're not supposed to have a line against bad FCS teams. There's not supposed to be a line.
Yeah.
Because the assumption is you're going to win by so much that it's not worth betting. It's not worth the house trying to guess how much, right? So the fact that Northwestern has a line this week is like, not great. Not great that that's out so early. I know that eventually, I know by tomorrow morning there'll be a Northwestern State Minnesota line because gamblers are degenerates and will bet on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of you, and not you casual gamblers, but the hardcore type gamblers who are like addicted and it's sad, or are like professionals and it's Also kind of sad.
Tell us how you really feel, Mike.
Yeah, I'm not hating on any of you for gambling, but I'm not big for gambling. I'm not a gambling advocate. John, I don't think this game is about Northwestern State at all. I think it's about the Gophers.
Yeah.
And what do you want to see the Gophers do in week 2?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we got Darius off to a really nice start last week. 3 things we got to do. I think you got to get AJ Turner more touches. I want to see what he can do with like a fuller workload, because he was so amazing in practice. I want to see that transfer to Saturdays. And against Northwestern State, he should be faster than anyone on their team by a long shot.
Yeah.
So I want to see him break a long run and house it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I'm gonna be watching for. I will be watching to see, will the Minnesota receivers catch the ball? A lot of teams had drops last week. Minnesota was no exception. The Gophers had, I think, 5 were credited with 5 drops.
Yeah.
So I think those were, 2 of those were superstar or rising star Frosh, receiver Jalen Smith. So I can forgive that. It was his first game, but now you've gotten past your first game jitters. Let's see it.
Yep.
And then Jamison Gears had a couple of drops, and there's no excuse, man. You're a senior.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to see, but again, it was game 1. That stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see Minnesota catch the ball. And in conjunction with that, I want to see the Gophers finish in the red zone.
Yes.
We get inside the 20. We got to score touchdowns, not field goals, touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Harbaugh, Minnesota's offensive coordinator, made a really interesting comment this week. He said, yeah, we need to work on our red zone execution, but also we don't always want to score in the red zone. We want to score before we get to the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, this doesn't sound like a PJ Fleck offensive coordinator at all, but PJ has grown. PJ's grown.
Yeah.
He's grown as a head coach. I think it took like 7 years or 8 years, but somebody with analytics finally hit him over the head and was like, hey, PJ, you should take a look at these numbers. You're actually better off throwing the ball more than you do.
Well, in years past, he would have, after that many drops, he never would have thrown the ball in the air once after that. It would have been done. Passing, it would have ran the ball, and that's it. But we didn't.
I remember the game against Illinois when Tyler Johnson had an early 2 drops, and PJ just brought it into a shell for the rest of the game and was like, all right, if we're going to drop the ball, then we just got to run block. And it's like, no, dude, that's not how it works.
Yep.
Actually, if you have a drop, you almost need to throw it more to make up for the drop.
Yep. Good to see these changes, though. Love it.
It's great to see the changes. I'm also going to look, Minnesota's offensive line, I thought played pretty well last week.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them further gel this week. And I want to see who steps up in pass rushing situations.
Yes.
What does Jackson Howard look like? Will Emmanuel Carmo get some snaps? Mm-hmm. Can he take advantage of those? He is also an athlete. There's no way anyone Northwestern State has to block him is as fast as Emmanuel Carmo.
And I want to see. I want to see
Carter Menz too at D.
Oh yeah, and I want to see our D line depth. I don't want to play Devin Eastern or Jalen Logan Redding much. I don't want to see them on the field much after the first half. I don't.
They should be. Those guys should be done at half.
Yes. Yeah.
The only people you don't pull at half, skill position wise, are the wide receivers, Drake, and the offensive line.
Yeah.
Everybody else, you should be rotating in, like going down the bench.
Yep.
If you have a good enough first half.
Yes.
You keep Drake Lindsay in because he hasn't gotten a lot of reps yet, so you want to get him at least 3 quarters.
Yep.
Just so he can get the reps and practice running the offense. You want the receivers in so Drake can continue the chemistry. You don't want him throwing to backup receivers. You want him throwing to your best receivers.
Yep.
But I want Darius done at halftime.
Yep.
I want AJ Turner done like halfway through the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the Gophers play that well. And honestly, man, I'm wearing my Gopher stuff today. I'm excited to go to the game tomorrow. Be able to wear my light hoodie, which is my favorite hoodie, but I never get to wear it to games because usually by the time it gets cold, it's time for a heavy hoodie, not the light, but like 58 degrees or whatever. Perfect for a light hoodie. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to break that out. I rarely get to wear it. It's one of my favorite pieces of Gopher apparel. And I just want to sing the Rouser with 50,000 of my closest friends like 20 times.
Yeah.
Like every time we score a touchdown, every time we force a turnover. So I always look forward to the one FCS game of the year. I know some fans hate it, but I don't hate it.
No.
I like winning big. We don't always win big. We're in a lot of close games. We're not Ohio State.
We play in the Big Ten, man. It's
play in the Big Ten. Tough. Everyone's really tough. Everyone's tough.
Yep.
So we play a lot of close games. I want to go to a game that's not close, where we just run it from start to finish, and I can just cheer, jump up and down, be really pumped. I'm just bummed, man, that not only is Iowa State at 11 a.m., but so is Illinois Duke.
Yes.
So I have to miss the 2 best games of the day.
Yeah,
two of the three. Yeah, which is a little disappointing. But that said, I wouldn't give up going to a home game for anything. We only get 7 of them a year.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Should we move on?
Let's move on.
Okay, we've got the 1-0 Grambling Tigers going to Columbus to take on the 1-0 Ohio State Buckeyes. 2:30 p.m. game on the Big Ten Network. There's no line because Grambling is an FCS squad, and they're playing the Buckeyes. I don't have much to say. Grambling is an HBCU, John. The historic black colleges and universities of this country are incredibly important for our society. It helped African Americans at a time when they couldn't get admitted to other schools. And even still, it does a lot. Having those schools, those historically black colleges, does a lot to promote black culture and, black job seekers and entrepreneurs and all that kind of stuff. It's good to have that kind of visibility. I have a lot of respect for the HBCUs. Yep. It's really good football when you watch them play each other.
Yep.
But dude, Ohio State can name its score here.
Absolutely.
Grambling might not get a first down till the second half.
Even then, at least deep into the second half, maybe.
I mean, I'm saying when Ohio State pulls their starters and they start missing assignments.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Grambling goes the whole first half and gets 2 first downs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're on broken plays.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Buckeyes can score as many points as they want to. It reminds me, remember when Ohio State beat Bowling Green 77-0 and they called it the Bowling Green Massacre. And then Kellyanne Conway came out and referenced the Bowling Green Massacre like people died. Because she didn't know. She just heard massacre and was like, oh, it must be a mass shooting. There's a lot of those in America. And was like, it was like, pray for Bowling Green.
Oh my God. Oh, 77 people died at Bowling Green today.
Yeah.
No. Wow.
But yeah, man, it's going to be that kind of game, I think.
Yeah. I agree.
I expect a lot of points to maybe 0. I'll be surprised if Grambling scores at all.
It would, yeah. Even if
that said, Grambling still could have a really good year. So we're not burying you. And when if you win, the HBCU national championship, the what's it called? The Celebration Bowl. Love watching the Celebration Bowl every year. So Grambling will be rooting for you to get there, but it's just not going to happen tomorrow.
No,
not going to happen. All right. Next up, we have the Oklahoma State Cowboys going to Eugene to take on the number 6 Oregon Ducks. The 2:30 p.m. game on CBS. The line is Oregon by 29.5. Oklahoma State had a bad week, John.
Yes, they did.
Their starting quarterback got hurt, which sucks. He's out. I don't know how long he's out, if that's season ending or if it's he could come back at some point, but it seems like he's going to be out for a while. And then Mike Gundy publicly and bizarrely said that they shouldn't be playing Oregon because Oregon had too much money and should only be playing other teams that have that much money. And I was just thinking, didn't you play UT Martin last week?
Yes, they sure did.
Because that's Skyhawks. Because I'm sure UT Martin doesn't have the roster that you have money-wise. And I think it was a weird thing for Gundy to say. But honestly, man, I understand it. Because when T. Boone Pickens was alive, Oklahoma State was a national title contender. They should have had a title shot when the year they did the LSU Alabama rematch. Oklahoma State lost one game, and there were extenuating circumstances. I think that somebody from the school died in a plane crash that day, someone that the team knew. I might be. If I'm wrong about that, that might have been a different team.
I don't recall.
Anyway,
yeah.
The point is that they had a one loss that was just a weird loss, and instead of putting them in the title game, they gave us a LSU Alabama rematch, which was unwatchable.
Yeah, boring.
Yeah, where it should have been LSU versus Oklahoma State, which would have been Oklahoma State would have won the national title.
Mm-hmm.
And I bring that up because T Boone died and then NIL happened. If NIL had happened before T Boone died, he might have left in his will the money for Oklahoma State to have a big NIL budget.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He died before that. And I think Mike Gundy's bitter about it. I think he looks at where he was and where he is now in the sport and realizes that he's in a diminished conference at a school that's somewhat diminished.
Yeah. Yeah. I was always a Cowboys fan too, man. I was always rooting.
Yeah. Always root for them against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. So I agree. I definitely think that Mike Gundy is in that kind of position right now. And if this is going to be really tough, man, I think 29 was it 29 and a half?
Yep.
I think it should be more. I really do. I think
so?
This is going to be an absolute blowout. I could see this being like 45-7.
I wish Oklahoma State had their starting quarterback, man.
But
I still don't think it'd be close, but at least they could maybe have some offense. Are they even going to score with a backup quarterback against Oregon? Oregon has the best defensive line in the Big Ten, probably the best pair of defensive ends anyway.
Well, and look, Oklahoma State even had trouble moving the ball on the ground and through the air last week against UT Martin. Their O-line did not look great. They were terrible at run blocking. And this is UT Martin, man. These are the Skyhawks. It shouldn't have been a competition, but it was. And I know that they won 27-7, but there were times where it looked pretty close on the field. And it just wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. They should have blown them out. And it didn't. It was, which I guess technically they did, but it didn't look that way on the field that time.
Didn't look great.
No.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be another game like last week for Oregon for the most part. I think they're going to be able to more or less name their score. So I've got this 45-7.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm going to say 42-10.
Okay.
I'm going to give them credit and say that they score twice. I think it's going to be a frosty post-game handshake.
Yes.
I predict that. I think it's going to be a and gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the kind of like where the coach comes up and his eyes are already narrowed and he just goes and then turns. But he turns as like it's like he looks out to make sure the hands meet.
Yeah.
But then he turns away.
Yep.
So he doesn't have to look at the coach because he doesn't like him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what Jerry Kill tried to do that to PJ Fleck, and PJ Fleck like put him in a bear hug and made him
I know. I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
And I love that about PJ. PJ's like, I'm best friends with everybody. And then Jerry Kill was like, oh, I guess I can't talk trash about this guy anymore. He's been nothing but nice.
Yeah. Kill him with kindness, man. That's PJ's thing.
That is PJ's thing.
And I love it. It works, man. It drives the other coaches and the other fan bases insane, but I love it.
It does. They don't like it. And it's funny because Matt Rule does the same thing, but like Nebraska fans can't see it.
Yep.
I was like, do you realize Matt Rule is just like a less handsome version of PJ Fleck? Like you realize that, right?
Yeah.
Like you're just looking at the same guy, just a little schlubbier.
Yeah. Well, we'll probably get comments about it now that you said that, you know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Should we move on?
Yep.
All right, we have next up the 0-1 Miami, Ohio Redhawks going to Piscataway to take on the 1-0 Rutgers Scarlet Knights. This is a 2:30 p.m. game on Peacock. Blah. Line is Rutgers by 15.5. What are your thoughts on this one, John?
I mean, look, I think Rutgers should win this game.
Yeah.
But we're going to see how bad that Rob Smith defense really is because it was terrible last week. It was god awful. And yes, Rutgers offense should be able to win and beat Miami of Ohio, although it may not be as easy as you think. Now, we both have talked about that Wisconsin is a little bit down. They are rebuilding a little bit, but they still held Wisconsin to only 17 points. Wisconsin
which is impressive.
Yes,
especially considering they didn't get much offense.
Yeah, well, and Wisconsin didn't score a touchdown until like deep into the third.
Yeah, it was 3-0 with 4 minutes left in the third quarter when Wisconsin finally scored a touchdown.
And that second touchdown was with a lot of help from the defense getting that interception and bringing it to the 1 yard line. So
yeah,
I got to give credit to Miami of Ohio's defense here. Now, if they can show up and slow down Rutgers' offense, this could be a game. And if they can get some kind of offense going, look, Rutgers is going to have to contain DeQuan Finn. DeQuan Finn, even though he didn't have amazing numbers against Wisconsin, because Wisconsin's defensive line is really good. They have a lot of speed. They've got a lot of good size. They were able to contain him. But if DeQuan Finn can run and get out of the pocket and throw just well enough, he could make this a game. And so I do think Rutgers wins, but I think it could get scary at times. So I've got Rutgers winning this game 21-17.
Nice. Yeah, man. If Miami, Ohio had any more offense last week, then I would be picking the upset. But as bad as their offense was, I just think that the Rutgers defense I think they'll make the Rutgers defense look better than it is.
Sure.
Because of how inept they were.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm with you, man. I don't think it's a blowout. Like I think Miami, Ohio will score a few points. And and their defense is really good. And we had a comment, John, on I try to respond to all your comments when you comment on our YouTube stuff. And we had a comment back from our Rutgers preview recently in the last few days.
Okay.
That was like, all you pundits who don't watch the games and you think Athan sucks because he was bad at Minnesota. And I was like, dude, I've watched every game Athan's ever played.
Same.
He is a head case.
Yep.
And he showed it in the bowl game last year.
Yep.
Remember when all he had to do was run for a first down or throw for a first down and there was nobody in front of him and he just fell down?
Mm-hmm.
And then they lost the game?
Yep.
Like shortly after?
Look, and we've acknowledged when Athan's on,
he's on, man. When he's on, he's good.
Yes. So we don't not give Athan credit for what he's capable of doing. It's just his consistency on executing, and that's always been his issue. And yes, we do watch every game. I have watched every game along with you that Athan has ever played. So,
and you can see when he becomes a head case. You can see him, his body language changes, and he gets kind of jerky, and you can see him start to seize up. You can see it happening.
Yep.
So yes, Athan is good. They will probably win this game, but I do think it's close.
Yeah.
I think I've got Rutgers 24, Miami, Ohio 16.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think it's like a 1-score game, but barely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not even putting this on this game if it looks bad on Athan. Actually, it's going to be that defense. I will say it until I'm blue in the face, until they finally fire him, because I think it's going to happen. That Rob Smith was a terrible hire, and Schiano, you know better than this. You knew better than this.
He didn't though. He hired him.
So, but
you hired him, John. He's letting him call the plays.
You should have known better than this.
Yes, he should have, but he doesn't. It's like when PJ hired Mike Sanford, and we were like, why would you hire this guy who can't do the job?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, sometimes you just know it's a bad hire.
Yeah.
And coaches, the thing is, you're not Nick Saban. Nick Saban could take failed coaches and turn them into successful coaches at the Nick Saban School for Wayward Boys.
Yes.
Greg Schiano's not Nick Saban.
Nope.
Love him. Great coach. Not Nick Saban.
Exactly.
And the Rob Smith thing, man, it's gonna continue to be a problem. But I hope it's not too big a problem this week, because I want him still calling plays when they come to Minneapolis.
Absolutely. Yes. Need that.
That's important. All right, moving on. We have the 0-1 Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders going to play the Wisconsin Badgers at Camp Randall. It's a 3 p.m. game on FS1. The line is Wisconsin by 28.5. Middle Tennessee's awful, John. Last week, they lost. They didn't just lose. They lost to an FCS team. And it wasn't North Dakota State or South Dakota State. They lost to Austin Peay by a score of 34-14. John, do you know when the last time Austin Peay beat an FBS team was?
No.
1987. So this is not a good Austin Peay program. This is not a competitive Austin Peay program. This is a bad Austin Peay program, and they crushed the Blue Raiders.
Wow.
Crushed them. So my question is, can Wisconsin generate more offense than they did last week? Because if they can't, like, if Austin Peay scored 34 points against Middle Tennessee, Wisconsin, you got to score at least 40. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
I don't care how you do it. I don't care if it's all runs. Like, I don't care what you do, but you can't. This can't be like 24-10. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, this can't be 27 to 9. Like, you have to show that your offense can get it done against the worst team you're going to play all year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No,
sorry, Max, friend of the pod, Max. We know he's a Middle Tennessee, alum, and sorry, Max. It's not to be this year, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, he gets to feel better being an Ohio State fan, though. So
that's true. He is an Ohio State fan, so and that's his primary fandom. So I'm not crying any tears for you, Max. I'm just saying it would be more fun if you had living in Tennessee, if you could go to games that were a little more fun than that.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's I don't think we're gonna learn much about Wisconsin this week unless they don't put up the offense.
Yes.
If they score like, even if they score like 30 points, man, I'm gonna be like, what happened? Austin Peay scored 34 points against these guys.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on to I'd say the game of the day. The 1-0, number 15 Michigan Wolverines heading to Norman take on the also 1-0, number 18 ranked Oklahoma Sooners. It's a 6:30 p.m. game on ABC. The line is Oklahoma by 2.5. This is a huge game, John.
Mm-hmm.
Brent Venables for Oklahoma head coach is on the hot seat. It's year 3. They had the only 2 losing records in the 21st century for Oklahoma the last 2 years. If he doesn't turn it around in a significant way this year, he is going to be fired. So this is a must-win game for him because Oklahoma has a tough schedule too. So he cannot take a loss to Michigan before he even gets into SEC play.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot. The good news, he's trying to keep his job desperately. And for Brent Venables, the thing that he's good at is confusing young quarterbacks. He's good at making really exotic defensive looks, making something look like it's one thing pre-snap, but it's something else post-snap. Mm-hmm. And that's hard. When you can do that effectively, that can be really hard for young quarterbacks, especially a quarterback like Bryce Underwood, who hasn't even been on campus a year, hasn't had time to master the system the way other quarterbacks have had time to master their systems. So here's what I think. If Michigan is going to win this game, they need to run the ball. And not just with the running backs, with Bryce Underwood too.
Mm-hmm.
They need to run it and run it and run it again because Brent Venables can't confuse Bryce Underwood if he's handing the ball off or running QB power.
Yeah.
He's not going to be confused, But if you have him back and suddenly it's 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and you're asking him to drop back and pass in obvious passing situations, that's when you throw picks as a young quarterback. That's when you make mistakes. I think Michigan should be throwing on 1st down a lot when they're going to throw so that Oklahoma thinks it's a run and that they can get, and I would use a lot of play action, and really sell out on we're going to run the ball like 70% of the time. And when we do throw, it's going to look like a run. Except for in 3rd and long. That's the only time it's going to be an obvious throw. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I think Bryce Underwood's going to throw a pick or 2. And if he throws a couple picks, then they're going to lose. That's kind of where I'm at in this game. John Mateer, also, Oklahoma wants to run the ball. John Mateer's a running quarterback.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily the kind of polished passer some other guys are, or at least he hasn't shown it yet.
Yeah.
And if you look last year when he was at Wazoo, against the better teams they played, he wasn't very good as a thrower specifically. So John Mateer has to prove he can throw it well enough to play in the SEC. So there's a lot. The quarterbacks have things to prove, and Sherrone Moore may not be on the hot seat, but if he goes 7-5 again, he will be.
Yeah.
8-5, he will be.
Yep.
So I think this is a monster game for both teams. It's a must-win for Oklahoma. I'm not going to say it's a must-win for Michigan because I do think having a freshman quarterback gives you a little bit of leeway. But it would be a huge win for Michigan if they're able to win this game and give them a lot of momentum going forward. So I don't know, man. I think this comes down to, can Michigan successfully run the ball? Because here's the thing. Michigan's defensive line still looks great.
Yes.
Like, I think they're going to slow Oklahoma's running game down. It could be a thing where both teams load the box, dare the other team to throw, and it's a question of which team can throw it at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I think this is going to be a really interesting game. I think it could go a lot of ways.
I mean, I think it's going to be a really good game. As far as the running quarterbacks go, I know we haven't seen much as far as Bryce Underwood, but just looking at sheer size
and speed,
he's so much bigger than John Mateer. I mean,
he's a monster, dude.
Mateer is fast and slippery, no doubt.
Yes.
And quick and shifty, but I mean,
Mateer looks like you or me.
Yeah.
Bryce Underwood looks like a Greek god.
He's monstrous.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be harder to take him down.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see. I think you're right. I think running the ball obviously is going to be key, and Michigan does that well. Like I trust Michigan to be able to do that well and be successful at it. You're obviously going to have to throw the ball with Bryce Underwood at some point.
Yep.
From what I saw last week, I was impressed. Yes, could he be confused and maybe throw a pick? Sure. As of right now, though, man, I guess
no, he looks like the truth.
Yeah, he does. And that, to me, right there, yes, freshmen can make freshman mistakes, especially early on in the season, especially against a far better team this week in Oklahoma. But man, it's hard for me right now to pick against Michigan. I've just seen what's gone on at Oklahoma the last couple of years, and I don't have a lot of faith in them being up to the task. I think their talent will be there, but I'm not sure that Brett Venables is the guy to get it done. And I'm not saying Sherrone Moore has been stellar either. I guess I have more faith in what Michigan is bringing to the table on the field as far as talent goes. So, and consistency in the key positions, which, as you and I always talk about, up front, offensive and defensive line.
They don't rebuild ever. They reload.
Yes. So I have faith that Michigan is going to show up on the line of scrimmage and in the running back position. And I think that's what will, decide this game. I think Michigan definitely wins in that front.
Yeah. I think it's going to be, what do you have for a score?
I think it's going to be really close. I'm seeing 24 Michigan, Oklahoma 20.
Okay. 24-20. Yeah. I think Michigan, what they have to do this week is they got Justice Haynes going last week. They got to get Jordan Marshall going this week too. They got to get both of those guys going in the run game and Bryce Underwood. I want to see those guys combined for among the three of those guys, they need to have 45 carries.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
They really have to pound it because I think if you make Bryce, he could be fine for a while, but if you keep making him drop back over and over and over again against a Brent Venables defense, when he's a true freshman quarterback, eventually he's going to throw some balls up for grabs in the wrong place. And if he does that, then Michigan's going to lose.
Yep.
So I think Michigan has to run the ball, and Sherrone Moore has shown he will just run the ball all the time. So, yeah, I think Michigan's got to run the ball. I think that's going to be the key to winning this game. We lost John. I'm sure he'll be back in a second. So I have the Michigan Wolverines 17, the Oklahoma Sooners 16. All right, moving on. Oh, he's back. You're back.
I am back.
Sick.
Cool.
It's all right. I was just telling them I've got Michigan 17, Oklahoma 16.
Yep. Okay.
I think it's that close. I think it comes down to the final drive, and I think it's Michigan that gets a stop defensively to win the game.
Sure. Totally see it.
Yeah, and then Brent Venables starts behind the scenes quietly looking for his next gig.
Yes.
Because, yeah, he's got to win this game. He's got to win it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, we have the 0-1 Akron Zips going to play the 1-0 Nebraska Cornhuskers. This is a game that'll be played at 6:30 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. The line is Nebraska by 34.5. I don't know, man. The Zips are bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not sure how good Wyoming is. They lost 10-0. So that means one thing. Akron had so little offense that even though Wyoming only scored 10 points, Akron couldn't score any. So they got a bunch of possessions, and couldn't do anything with them. Their quarterback was bad, 16 for 38. Their running backs were pedestrian, and their receivers didn't do anything. So, I mean, I think this is going to feed into the Nebraska as a college football playoff team, because if Akron couldn't score on Wyoming, they're not going to score against Nebraska.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a big goose egg. I think lines Nebraska 34.5. I think it's like Nebraska 38, Akron 0.
Yeah, I'm seeing something similar. You know, what I'm going to want to see is, I want to see with Nebraska, can they run the ball effectively? Because clearly Akron has a solid defense to some degree anyways. So I want to see how well Nebraska can run the ball. I want to see them mainly focus on that, frankly. And if they can run all over Akron, then all right. Then we're going to see where Nebraska goes as far as that college football playoff talk goes.
Yeah, it took Emmett Johnson 25 carries to get over 100 yards last week. That's only just a little over 4 yards a carry. And nobody else who ran the ball did anything with it. Like nobody else got any headway. So they're going to ride Emmett Johnson, it looks like.
Yep.
You know, it looks like they're going to ride him as far as he'll take them. So I need to see him play well.
Yep. Same.
And, you know, Dylan Raiola played well last week. And the other thing is, man, Nebraska couldn't stop the run last week. I assume they're going to be able to stop Akron from running the ball.
Yes.
But if they can't, then it's time to get scared.
Yep.
I think they will. Yep. I think it's going to be 38-0, like I already said. But that's what I'm watching for. Can Nebraska show they can actually stop the run?
Yep.
Because that didn't happen last week.
Mm-mm.
You know, I think we said it before, but Cincinnati is not great, and they ran for 7 yards a carry. 7 yards a carry against Nebraska. Over 200 yards for the game last week. So, yeah, Nebraska's got to show up. I think they will, but yeah.
I think
all right, next up, we have the 0-1 Georgia Southern Eagles going to play the 1-0 USC Trojans. This is a 6:30 p.m. game on FS1, and the line is USC by 28.5. Dude, I don't know what to say about this game. Like, Georgia Southern didn't just lose to Fresno State. It was 42-14.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't belong on the same field as Fresno State. And we know USC is quite a bit more talented than Fresno State, because Fresno State got crushed by Kansas, right? In week 0 or whatever.
Yeah.
So they've already played 2 games. Georgia Southern has played just 1, but they got crushed by Fresno State. I don't have a lot to say. USC is going to score 70 points again. And I will say, if you're trying to get Jaden Mayava into the Heisman conversation, it's a good way to do it. September Heisman, rack up crazy stats in the out of conference slate, so that when you get to conference play, everyone's like, ooh, look how dangerous they are.
Well, I mean, from what you can tell on Twitter, that's already the case, is that Mayava's going to win the Heisman and USC is going to go all the way. So it's talk about another program that, you know, with off-season college football natties. So
Yeah.
here we go. I agree. I think it's going to be that kind of game. I don't see any reason why not. And again, yeah, name your score. I think it's going to be over by half, if not even before.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing terribly exciting.
For sure. Okay, moving on. We have the 1-0 Boston College Eagles at the 1-0 Michigan State Spartans. This is a 6:30 p.m. game on NBC, the Here Comes Saturday Night game, as I like to call it. And the line is Sparty by 4.5. Mm-hmm. John, it was alarming to me that Thomas Castellanos got benched at Boston College, goes to Florida State, immediately lights Alabama up like a Christmas tree. What was Bill O'Brien doing with him? Why wasn't he better under him? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Bill O'Brien's supposed to be a quarterback whisperer.
It's weird. I agree. I mean, Dylan Lonergan didn't have a great QBR, but he didn't look terrible last week.
Right.
I mean, then again, they were playing Fordham. So, which, you know, as you said, I think prior to the podcast, they're barely a football team in general. But
true.
They beat Fordham 66-10 last week. So, look, I think Boston College offensively is going to be a much better test than last week for Joe Rossi's defense and with Sparty. But I also think that Boston College's defense is going to be better than what they also faced with Western Michigan last week. Their secondary is expected to be very good. I think it's going to be a really good test for Childs. Boston College's D-line could also be a strength of theirs. I can't, it's hard to say with Fordham, but they looked really solid. They looked sound. They were always in position. They were getting to the quarterback consistently and with little to no resistance. And Bond and Skeet are going to be threats from what I could tell as far as receiving targets for Dylan Lonergan to throw to. He throws a really nice ball.
Yep.
He's definitely not the same kind of athlete as Childs is, but he's solid. He's very solid, I think. He put up 268 yards, 7.9 yard average, 4 TDs, 26 out of 34 last week against Fordham. So he knows the system. I think he's gonna look pretty good. Running the ball though,
they had 97 yards last week only.
Yeah, against Fordham. Yeah.
So whereas Michigan State had Mekhi Frazier go over 100 yards on just 14 carries.
Exactly.
And Brandon Tullis had they both averaged 7.4 yards a rush.
And that's the caveat right there. That's what for me has me picking Sparty over Boston College. I think this is going to be a really good opportunity for Childs and Nick Marsh and the wide receiving core to really create that chemistry and figure out what they can do against a really solid secondary.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a win because Michigan State can run the ball and Boston College can't. So that's where I'm at. I think it could be close, maybe by half. I still think Sparty will be ahead. And then I think Michigan State pulls ahead in the fourth quarter and that's it. That's all she wrote. So
what do you think the score is?
I think it's going to be Michigan State 30 to Boston College 17.
Okay. Yeah, similar. I've got 27-16.
Okay.
I think there are going to be some field goals in this game. I think Joe Rossi's defense is going to play bend but don't break very successfully.
Mm-hmm.
Boston College is a good test before Big Ten play, but they're also not as good as most of the teams Michigan State's going to play in the Big Ten. Yeah. And they're still, what is this, year 2 for Bill O'Brien?
Yeah.
2 or 3. So he's still rebuilding too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I think here's the thing. Michigan State better win this game.
Oh yeah.
If they lose this game at home, I'm not saying that dooms Jonathan Smith or anything, but it would put a big damper on the season.
Oh, absolutely. For sure.
Boston College isn't good enough for that to be like an acceptable loss.
Nope. And I think they will, but yeah. So.
All right, next up, we have the 1-0 Southern Illinois Salukis going to West Lafayette to take on the 1-0 Purdue Boilermakers. This is a 6:30 p.m. game on Big Ten Network. There's no line as the Salukis are a mediocre FCS team.
Well, look, the Southern Illinois Salukis did beat Thomas More College Saints last
Never
week.
heard, that's the first time I've heard. Thomas More, like Utopia Thomas More. Interesting. Interesting.
49 to 3.
Utopia. It was like a fever dream, man. It was like I read Utopia when I was a teenager, and I was like, this is what doing drugs must feel like. Because like this thing is insane. It's crazy. But yeah, Thomas More, interesting.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, let's just tell people what a Saluki is. It's an ancient, graceful sighthound from the Middle East, known for its speed, endurance, and keen eyesight, which it uses for hunting.
That's fun.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. So
what a unique. I like unique mascots. Good for them.
Yeah, I mean, I knew
and the alliteration, Southern Illinois Salukis.
Yep.
Good. Well done. Well crafted name.
I like it. But other than that, yeah, this is going to be. I feel like Purdue is going to be able to run away with this. Salukis, they're not. I don't think they're a bad FCS team. They're a top 25 FCS team in their conference.
Yeah.
They do have considered a dual threat quarterback in DJ Williams. Vincent Davis is going to be the main target wide receiver. He's definitely going to be an impact player. And they had a pretty solid run game for what I could tell against Thomas More College Saints. So, there's that. But from what I saw, man, last week, and I know that, obviously there's going to be a talent disparity no matter what, but Purdue did not look bad.
No.
Like, Ryan Brown looked great. He
looked like he looked against Illinois last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this Purdue team is going to be at the bottom of the Big Ten by the end when all is said and done. I don't. From what I can tell so far, I think they look sound. They are clearly well coached. Barry Odom, like you've established many times, and we've talked about, he's a good coach, man. And I think this Purdue team will struggle. It will lose games. I'm not guaranteeing they're going to go bowling, but I think they're going to be in a lot more games than what people are expecting. So I think they're going to be able to take it to Southern Illinois here. I do see Southern Illinois maybe getting 10 points, getting a touchdown, maybe a late field goal, or field goal and late touchdown, whatever. But I think Purdue runs away with this pretty much in hand. I see Purdue winning this game 38-10.
Yeah, I'm saying 35-7, but like, I just don't think. Yeah, I don't think the Salukis are gonna be able to handle the Boilermakers. Barry Odom's a good coach, man. Purdue is no longer the worst team in the Big Ten.
No,
that's either UCLA or Northwestern.
Yep.
Or we'll see. I'm not ready to count Maryland good until they prove it in conference play.
No.
So they could be in contention for worst team potentially. Yeah. If Mike Locksley follows his habit of his teams peaking in September and then getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say those three teams, but I don't have Purdue in that category right now.
No, I don't either.
Them in the bottom. I think that they've showed that they brought in a lot of good portal guys and they're improved and they're going to be in some close games this year.
Well, there's competence on the field, man. Yes. Like nobody looked lost. Everyone looked like they were exactly where they should be. Everyone had their assignments down and they executed. And that alone right there is going to win you games. So if you're a sound team, you're going to be okay. Possibly a bowl team.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next up, we have a game that should have never been scheduled. The 0-1 UCLA Bruins going on the road to Las Vegas to take on the 2-0 UNLV Running Rebels. 7 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. The line is UCLA by 2.5. John, I once went to watch the Gophers play at UNLV. It was when they were still at Sam Boyd Stadium. We had as many fans as they did, which was good because it took triple overtime to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I found out that Marquise Gray could not pass and that it just wasn't going to go great as long as he was quarterback.
Yeah.
That said, UNLV is a very good Mountain West team. They won 11 games last year, right? 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the most in school history or the most since the 80s. And yeah, dude, why is UCLA playing this game? Why are they going on the road to play a really competent team? They should have pulled. If I had been Deshaun Foster, I would have gone to the AD the moment I took when UNLV started charging last year, I would have been like, we're not playing them at their place. Get me a different game. Like, are you kidding me? Buy out of this game. Don't do this. This is stupid. Because now there's a real chance that UCLA starts 0-2.
Could be.
And if they start 0-2, this season is over.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. It's over. They are not going to win. They are not going to go to a bowl game. They are not going to be competitive. If they go 0-2 and lose to UNLV, this is over.
Yeah.
Because the way they showed zero fight against Utah, none. Utah was ready to play. They were not. And I know Utah's good, but they're not Ohio State.
No.
They're Utah. You should have been able to at least be competitive. And they weren't. They weren't even remotely competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody's got to help Nico out. You know, his offensive line needs to play better because he was rushed. I mean, he was running for his life out there last week, nonstop from start to finish. They need to play better on the offensive line. His receivers need to actually catch the ball. And they got to improve on defense, man. I know they lost a lot. They lost Carson Schwestinger and some other key defensive players from last year, and that sucks. But you got to get better, and you got to get better fast because Big Ten play is coming. And if you don't improve defensively, you're going to get blown out every week.
Well, this is going to be tough, man. Look, I don't want to say outright that UCLA doesn't have a chance to win this game. The Rebels, they did score 38 points and their offense looked really good, but their defense was very leaky against the Sam Houston Bearcats.
Yeah.
This is a team in their second year in the FBS, and they were able to score 21 points, and it was kind of a little bit of a tale of two halves. UNLV came up to a strong start, scoring 24 points in the first half, and Sam Houston only had 7. But in the fourth quarter, whether UNLV was just kind of giving up and in the end there, but they were able to put up another 14 points, and it didn't look like they had it in hand the whole game. Now, Anthony Calandria, UNLV's quarterback, did exceptionally well.
He's a good player.
He was 19 out of 23, 249 yards, 10.8 yard average, 2 TDs, 1 interception with a 92.1 QBR.
Wow, when you throw a pick and still have a QBR in the 90s, that's impressive.
Yeah, so he's going to be good. The running game is fine. Jaden Thomas had 9 carries for 65 yards. Kayvon Lee, who I didn't know ended up at UNLV, was the second banana for 7 carries for 42 yards. So, and they had 155 yards total on the ground. But it was Sam Houston State or Sam Houston, sorry, the Bearcats, and so it's lesser competition, but UNLV looks so bad. UCLA looks so bad, and I am also, like we talked about, what could be the killer in this game is going to be, what does that locker room look like? Yeah. I think Calandria is going to score. He's going to get his points. He's going to look good because, yes, I agree that this UCLA defense does not look up to par right now. But what is that offense even going to look like? Is it totally demoralized? Is it going to just roll over and die? Is Nico just barely even going to, does he even want to be there? And are you going to see it? Because last week, there were times where I was looking at his face and it was like, which is, easy to see or easy to maybe feel that way. But I don't know, man. It makes me nervous, and it's made us nervous all offseason.
But he just looked like he didn't want to be there. What you want to see is anger and passion when you're losing like that. You want to see someone trying to hype his teammates up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was he that guy? You would have been so much better off with Joey Aguilar, man.
Yep.
And I think they'd be playing harder. I think they'd be playing harder if they had a quarterback that they actually believed in and knew well leading them.
Totally.
And not some guy who just came as a mercenary over the summer.
Totally agree. Yep.
Yeah. So who do you have winning, though?
It's after what I saw last week, man, it's really hard for me. I want to pick UCLA. I really do. I think UNLV wins this. I think Calandria is the real deal. And I think he's going to be able to do enough to win this game. I think UCLA is going to put up more of a fight because I think they're going to have to. And they're going to feel that pressure, as they should. So right now, I have UNLV winning this game 28 to UCLA 24.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a little closer, but not great.
I have UNLV 19, UCLA 16.
Okay.
I think it's ugly. I think both teams have offense, but make lots of mistakes. I think we see turnovers too, and I think it comes down to which team plays harder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I need to see UCLA play harder before I believe they're going to play harder. for Deshaun Foster and for Nico, And it's too bad because they played really hard for Deshaun Foster last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it just shows, man, managing a locker room is a hard thing to do. And as a first-time head coach, Deshaun Foster might be learning the hard way that the most talented player is not always the right fit.
Yeah, for sure.
Usually it is the right fit. Usually you should make it work. But occasionally you got to let a guy walk who's talented.
Yeah.
Occasionally to enforce your culture. Or in this case, not even let a guy walk, but just not go with him. You already had a quarterback. He was playing well at practice. I'll never understand that decision by Deshaun Foster.
No.
I think it was a big mistake.
Possible career killer right there.
Yeah. Tino Sunseri deserves credit or blame for that too, because he was obviously on board with it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Last game, John. We have the 1-0 UC Davis Aggies going to Seattle, take on the 1-0 Washington Huskies. This is a 10 p.m. game on Big Ten Network. There's no line as UC Davis is FCS. I don't mean to shit on, or excuse me. Whoops. Well, I guess it's this late in the podcast. They won't get me for profanity anyway. But I don't mean to piss on Washington fans at all. I just don't think you're going to be threatened even a little bit in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, UC Davis won, but
it wasn't. They didn't blow out Utah Tech.
No, it wasn't dominant.
Yeah.
It was 31-24, and Utah Tech. Dude, I didn't even know Utah Tech was a team. I know Utah State. That's a good team. I know Utah and BYU, but Utah Tech.
I think they're in the old WAC now. I didn't even know the WAC was still around.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This should be Washington should name its score here.
Yep.
I think this should be a game where Jonah Coleman is done at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
I
agree. Look, I mean, Caden Pinnock, their quarterback, he was 21 for 31 with 253 yards, 8.2 yard average, and 3 TDs with an interception. But it wasn't bad. But yeah, man, I mean, it's the Utah Tech Trailblazers. And I agree. I think Washington's going to want to show a convincing blowout win. They want to show that they aren't going to be a slow start like they were last week. So I think that's what we're going to see here. I think they're going to come out firing on all cylinders and just throwing the ball down the field and racking up as many points as possible.
Yeah. Also, UC Davis was down 24 points and had to rally to win.
Yep.
Against Utah Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, dude, I think this could be like 48-10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like that. I don't think they're going to stop Washington ever.
No.
All day. So I think it's just a matter of how long does Jed Fish want to leave his starters in.
Mm-hmm.
Damon Williams, you probably like Drake Lindsay. You probably play him through at least 3 quarters just because you want him to get the reps. But man, I would have Jonah Coleman sitting out by halftime.
Yeah.
At the latest.
Yep.
Save those hits for Big Ten play.
Absolutely.
All right, John, we previewed all the games.
We did.
All 18. We got how many more weeks of this? We got one more week of 18 games before we start conference play a little bit.
Finally. Can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, 18 games is a lot, folks.
Yeah, not that I'm wishing the season away, but this is it's tough going into some of these games. Because but
with teams we're not familiar with that we have to learn about, and then it's not worth learning about them anyway because they're not very good, and it is what it is.
Yep.
But it's exciting. I'm excited for football. I'm excited to go to a football game in person with 50,000 of my closest friends. So I'm pumped, man. What do you got going on this weekend? You do anything cool other than watching football?
Watching football. I got a couple things going on with the family, and I got to just do a couple of projects around the house. Got some family from out in New Jersey coming to visit in a couple weeks, so things to prep and whatnot. But
cool.
All good. No, I don't mind doing anything as long as this weather stays the way it is. This is fantastic.
I love it. It's beautiful.
So, yeah.
All right. So if you're not listening to us, go outside. Or if you are listening to us, go outside, take a walk.
Yeah. Put your headphones on.
Yeah, dude. I guess we should have said that at the beginning of the podcast, not the end.
Yeah.
But whatever. We got to it.
Yep.
So thanks so much for listening, everybody. And we will see you. We will have a timely recap out early next week, and then next week's preview will be out much earlier,
Mm-hmm.
so that people have more time to listen to it. All right, we'll see you all in the next one.